Good morning, Brimfield. Happy Saturday and happy first day of spring. It's Cassie Weir, the park director here, bringing you our 6th episode of Backyard Brimfield, which means we've been doing this series for 6 months already. I can't believe it. I am outside today, even though it is raining and a little bit chilly, because I am so excited for spring. I have been out on the trails and I've been seeing some hints of spring, and I'm going to bring some of those to you today in today's episode. If you have any nature finds in your backyard that you would like to share for next month's episode, please feel free to email them to me and I will be sure to include them. So have a wonderful weekend, enjoy this episode, and make sure you get out and enjoy nature.
Sometimes you have to go out in search of nature, but
day.
Other times nature finds you. This was the case with the first creature we're going to talk about today. Every day that I had come into work for the past few weeks, I'd been smelling a skunky smell coming from behind our building. And I knew that it was skunk mating season, so this wasn't a big surprise to me. I was surprised, however, when I was walking to my car on a Friday afternoon and our fiscal assistant, Rochelle, spotted a skunk grazing behind the police station. I ran inside and grabbed my good camera and was able to get some video from an appropriate distance. If my camera work is a little shaky, it's because this video was taken from very, very far away and I used all of my zoom function. A camera with good zoom is highly recommended when filming skunks because they are able to spray up to 15 feet with incredible accuracy. The following Monday, I was surprised to see a second skunk out during the daytime, and I was able to get some footage of that one as well. And it's amazing how different the two look. So this individual is a striped skunk, and the Latin name for the striped skunk is Mephitis mephitis. If I gave you one guess what the word mephitis means based on what you know about this animal, I bet you would get it right. The word mephitis means a noxious or foul-smelling gas or vapor. Apparently, the striped skunk's odor was so smelly that whoever named this animal had to put mephitis in its name twice. A skunk spray is actually an oily liquid that contains 7 different chemical compounds that make up its unique odor. The skunks you see in Ohio are striped skunks, although the first skunk in the video is not particularly stripy. Other skunks in the United States include the spotted skunk, the hognose skunk, and the hooded skunk. The stripe patterns of the striped skunk can vary quite a bit, and this individual only has a little bit of white on its head and the tip of its tail. Striped skunks are about the size of a house cat, which is 18 to 32 inches long and between 2 and 13 pounds, with male skunks tending to be a bit on the larger side. Skunks are a great segue to our next nature find, skunk cabbage. For me, seeing this plant is always a beacon of hope that our long winter is finally coming to an end. Skunk cabbage is one of the first flowers to bloom in the spring and is even able to produce heat to melt the surrounding snow. How cool is that? Plants that produce heat are called thermogenic plants, and they warm up by using oxygen to break down sugar. Skunk cabbage can produce heat measuring up to 63 degrees. Why does it produce heat? Scientists have a few theories. One theory is that heat might attract pollinators that are drawn to the plant's warmth. Another theory is that it might help protect the plant against frost damage. This may be a flower, but it certainly doesn't smell like one. In fact, when its leaves are bruised or broken, it emits a smell that has been compared to skunk odor or rotting flesh. Its smell, along with its reddish-purple coloration, is believed to mimic rotting meat, which attracts pollinators like flies and beetles. It gets the cabbage part of its name from the large cabbage-like leaves. Other names for this plant include polecat weed, clumpfoot cabbage, and swamp lantern. You can find skunk cabbage beginning in late February in shady areas with wet soils. Our final harbinger of spring for this episode is a bird that a lot of us know and love and is a symbol for happiness. This is the eastern bluebird. The eastern bluebird is a species of thrush like the American robin. Male eastern bluebirds are easily identified by their distinct color gradient, which transitions from a bright blue on their head, wings, and tails to an orange band across their chest to their white bellies. Females have the same coloration, but it's much more dull, almost like a shirt that's been through the wash too many times. Eastern bluebirds eat a diet of insects and fruits. They migrate to the southeastern United States or Mexico in the late fall and are one of the first birds to return to Ohio in the spring. Bluebirds are cavity nesters, meaning they nest in hollowed-out trees. They are not able to drill their own holes, so they rely on finding abandoned cavities made by other animals or occurring naturally from rotting wood. During mating season, which in Ohio is from late March through August, males will put on a display to attract a mate. They will bring nesting material to their chosen cavity and go in and out of their nest, then perch above it and wave their wings while singing and fluttering, kind of like he's saying, "Hey, look over here, look at me." Males bring the nesting materials, but females build the nest by loosely weaving grasses and pine needles together and then lining the nest with soft grasses. Not only are their feathers blue, but their eggs are too. Females will lay 3 to 8 pale blue eggs, which they will incubate while the males gather food. In the early 1900s, when much of Ohio was covered in forest, these birds were one of the state's most common species. But as trees were cut down for farming and insecticide use began to rise, bluebirds were left without homes and food, and their numbers drastically declined. Some studies say up to 90% of bluebird populations were lost in Ohio. Now their numbers are on the upswing due to the installation of bluebird boxers in backyards and parks. The Ohio Bluebird Society estimates that their population has increased 2% each year between 1966 and 2010.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Backyard Brimfield. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you some in-person programs in the near future, but until then, make sure you follow our social media pages, our YouTube channel, and our website for upcoming events and parks updates. So have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next month.